Now, if you want to move into Union Wharf, you can write your real estate agent a check for about $3.5 million. But there is a swimming pool between those two buildings, so it is like totally worth it. I don't know, I'm still trying to save up enough to move into Union Wharf, but I have to pay off my student loans first. But if you'd like to help out, you're more than welcome to leave a tip at the end of the tour. Now, sticking out from downtown Boston, you can see that clock tower. That is the Custom House Tower. Now, that was constructed on top of the Custom House, which was built in 1898 on the shoreline of the city at the time. So ships could dock right alongside the Custom House and unload their goods, pay their customs to the city of Boston, and then distribute their cargo throughout the New England area. Now, that tower on top of the Custom House was built in 1905, 7 years later, and until 1947 stood as the tallest skyscraper in Boston. So not until a little more than 60 years ago were any of these taller skyscrapers that we see begun to be constructed. In fact, many of them are much younger than 30 or 40 years old. So you have a very new skyline here in the city, pretty contemporary architecture. Now, where all these sailboats are moored is part of the Boston Sailing Club, one of several public sailing facilities here around the harbor, as well as up the Charles River, where you can rent a sailboat for a modest fee and learn how to sail on beautiful summer days out here in the harbor. Now, the North End is also famous for one of the more unusual historical moments here in Boston's history, the Great Molasses Disaster of 1919, when on an unusually warm January day, a tanker full of molten hot molasses on top of a rum distillery in the North End overheated and exploded, setting a 35-mile-an-hour wave of boiling hot sugar crashing down upon the population of the North End, killing 20 people, countless horses, and leaving a waist-deep quagmire of molasses floating around the North End for several weeks. Now, residents of the North End contend that on really hot summer days, you can still smell the molasses wafting up from the cobblestone streets almost